He's going to find himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So New are in a very precarious situation, but the option finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I'm just going to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
And I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the out pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. Definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Typical, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pite's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pite going to have a go? Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start dropping. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
down.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the opening round of the third season of the Evolution Sim Racing Championship. We're in Canada for the opening round with nearly 50 drivers racing and over 100 points to be won in the two races here this evening. A lot of these drivers are going to be hoping to start the championship in the best way possible. My name is Darragh Thacker. Joining me in the common booth is the man pressing the buttons, Mr. Dean Biggles. But we've only got a couple of minutes left in qualifying. We've got a lot of very close times at the moment. But Dean, a very big grid. GT3 is, of course, a pleasure around this circuit, particularly with the walls very close. What can we expect tonight?
Hugely stacked grid. Yeah, well, it's Canada. It's a man-made island circuit, of course, very long straights, plenty of overtaking opportunities, the wall of champions to murder you if you get it all wrong. It'll certainly be very, very entertaining as the qualifying is coming to an end, so we'll get you to go over the grid there. Of course, welcome. You got some names, of course, that'll be a little difficult to pronounce, but that's all part of the job, my friend.
Part of the challenge, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, with lots of different tournaments and lots of different names, you can start getting some pronunciations mixed up. But we'll do the best job we can this evening. But there's a lot of names to keep an eye on. Paul Cowlish, there we go. See immediately. Paul Cowlishaw. He is currently in P8 in the Premier class. Of course, there are two classes: the Premier class and the Evo class. Those in the Premier class have an I rating of 1,600 or above, or about around that. An Evo is then below that. But of course, there are separate championships. And then a joint championship along with the team's championship to all be fought over in this race and across the championship. But here is the results from qualifying. We've got Yannis Ulber, who will start from pole in the first race. Joe Newman in P2 with Tristan Dinnebrega, Piers Berry and Henry Nakari in the top 5. Luke Lucchesi in P6 with Pugh, Cowlishaw, Hoyland and Demai all in the top 10. Tahar, and Nathan Crook round out the top 12. And they are not the only drivers in this session. There are many, many, many more down the order. Here we go. Joe Sparrow, Joe Glass, Ewan Stitchbury, Victor Brown and Talavera, the top 17. Paul Robson, Stangle and Peter Cox in the top 20. Stephen Donnelly, Matt Barnett, and then Hussein Sarakardesla with Marcel Breitenbach in 24th. A couple of difficult names there, but we'll get there, won't we, Dean? Matthew Jones, Daniel Nans, Robert Hamilton and Gareth Newton in the top 28 with James Rankin and Gary Mitchell running out the top 30. James Bostock, Jeremy Orlemans, Alex Fretwell, John Ludbrook, Robert Aston and Stephen Cakebread in the top 36. And we're nearly at the end with Robert Aston, Stephen Cakebread, Dennis Collar, Tom Anderson, Alex Coenraerts, Chris Keenan, Rob McKee, Ashley Brooks, Graham Matthew. Then we've got Mark Robinson, James Pallow, the Jersey driver, in 45th position. And I think there's only one or two more. Actually, no, that is the back of the grid, isn't it? So there we go. There are 45 drivers in this race. Of course, this evening we will have two 30-minute races, with the second race carrying more points than the first. Whereas in a few rounds this season at Spa, Le Mans, and at Suzuka, rounds 2, 4 and 6, we will have 1 hour long sunset races. And they will, of course, carry their own points. Lots of racing, lots of points to be won on this opening race and this opening round, Dean. And just about to get underway with this, with the pace car getting us ready.
Yeah, they're going to do a rolling start. It's just too dangerous with this many cars on a grid, of course, stacked grid. But it just takes somebody bogged down like that, trying to get these cars launched. And bingo, just like that, you're going to have a massive, massive pile up and crash. It's not the best way to start the first race of the season, doing it like that. So they get some temperatures into the tyres and try to get the nerves out of the system, because they will be nervous, no doubt, because, you know, of course, it's the first race. They know that the grid is big. They know, too, even more, that if you do happen to make a mistake at the front, you've got a lot of cars. But guess what? Pace cars peeled in. We're about to go green flag racing for the first round of the season.
Yep, 45 cars then, about to get underway in this race. It will be Yannis Ulber leading them away. Joe Newman hoping to get a good launch off of the line. The lights are still red, but they're just about to go green. And we are racing now in Canada for the opening round of the Evolution Sim Racing Season 3 as they run down towards the opening corner. They're a couple wide in the background. Of course, 45 cars, they're still coming towards the start line as they run through the opening corner. But it is a good start from Yannis Ulber. Joe Newman as well in P2. Piers Berry as well having a nice start as they run their way down through the first sector. There's a lot of moves down in the mid-pack. Paul Cowlishaw, I think, here is having a go. I think he started in P8, but he's improved a position as they will run their way through the end of the first sector. But in this first race of 30 minutes, good start at the front, isn't it, from Yannis Ulber?
Yeah, a little bit of flashing technical issues, of course, as McAfee's trying to crunch all those cars at once. Trying to get you that fixed as soon as possible. You're going to see the gainers and losers. So far, so good, I'd have to say. There was a couple of incidents at the back, but considering the amount of cars, that is to be expected. Not much of a change in the top two. Of course, Piersbury got up the P3. There's a car going very, very slow at the moment there. I think that's a slowdown or something. Might have occurred to one of these drivers.
There could be a slowdown penalty. I'm sure this early on in the race, but inside line here for Crook down the inside. Right, so Crook is the one going slowly around the hairpin then as they run their way back towards the start line. Along the river, of course, as you mentioned before, it is a man-made island here for the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. But, as we've mentioned, Yannis Ulber, very good start. Leads relatively comfortably from Joe Newman at the moment. A big gainer at the front is Christophe Demay, actually. He moved up 4 spots off the start. Started in P10, but the likes of Ian Stitchbury and Victor Brown as well up 4, with Peter Cox up 6 further in the pack. And you've got a couple more drivers right at the back who've made up quite a few positions, just avoiding all the incidents. But, you know, at the front, it's important to get away, important to get that good momentum early on. And that's exactly what Yannis Ulber is doing. Currently a Lamborghini 1, 2 and 3. Of course, all the GTs available in this race for a lot of the drivers. And we've got Lamborghinis, Audis, Porsches, Ferraris, Mercedes as well. I think they are the only cars that have been chosen. Of course, there's a few more to choose from, but they are the only ones that have been chosen. And if you've chosen your car for the opening round, that is the car you must stick with through the season. So we're going to have to see which car in the end proves to be the most productive. Cowlishaw. He's right on the back, actually, of the Frenchman Christophe Demay. We'll have to see if he can make a move through this third chicane of the lap. Of course, the first one was down towards 3 and 4, and then 6 and 7, and then there at 8 and... Right then.
Are you there, sir?
It looks like I am here. I think I might have had some...
No, I believe it was me.
Okay, that is fine.
Mm-hmm. I think my... Internet's decided to drop out there for a second and kick me. Oh dear. Apologies about that one. And the drivers are going too fast, that's why.
They are. Ooh, my lifetime.
Yeah, it may not have worked. I'm going to have to leave the session.
Guess we're not live, right?
No, we are live. We're live.
Oh, we are live.
We're live.
Right.
We're live on that. We're not actually showing the race currently at the moment. So
that's all right then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while we've got the moment, I will run through, as you can see on the screen, actually, the different championships. Of course, there is the Premier Champion, the Evo Champion, and then you've got the Teams Champion, and then of course the overall champion. You'd expect the overall champion to be the champion of the Premier class, but you never know. There might be someone from Evo who just storms their way every single race, but we'll wait and find out. Of course, 9 races in the season. First one here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, next week at Spa, before we have a couple of weeks off for Christmas and New Year. Sebring is where we come back in the New Year, 11th of Jan, with Le Mans, Watkins Glen, Suzuka, Mugello, Cota, and then we round off the season up at the top of Mount Panorama at Bathurst. We'll have to see if the title will be decided there.
That's fun.
But
that's going to be a fun track to end the season at.
Yeah,
in the mountain. If you have a massive
with so many
pile up
cars
in the
going over Skyline.
Up through the Dipper and all that.
But yes, as you can also see on your screen, the trophies will be won. Top 10 in each class will get their personalised driver trophy, along with the top 5 teams. So, you know, very nice trophy numbers for some of these drivers to try and win here. Even if you don't have the best of seasons, finishing in P10, still pretty good. You still got a little trophy to say how well you have done. never won a trophy. There's a reason I'm up here talking rather than driving myself, but I'd love to have won a trophy like that, and I'm sure some of these guys will definitely be trying their utmost to be winning, even just coming in the top 10. Will get themselves a shiny piece of silverware.
Yes, at the moment, so you tried turning it off and on again. I'm trying to reload the game back in again, of course, with the sim. And DXT Live, of course. So are you also having some issues out there? I know that DXT Live is out there supporting his team.
Actually, I think my YouTube crashed as well while that was going on, so I'll have a quick look at the chat there. But yeah, I mean, doesn't seem to be working exactly right, although, well, it is actually frozen on when we dropped out, so I was going to see if I could provide an update, but no, for some reason, I think actually it's split at 21st on my page, so I'm not too sure why that is, but, I mean, it was a good start, wasn't it? From Yannis Ulber, I mean, he got away exactly as he needed to. Joe Newman followed suit as well. Didn't really want to let the German get too far up in front of him, is what I was trying to say there. But yeah, maybe there is a couple of issues. I'm going to have a quick look. There's nothing in any of the Discord chats in the server, so it doesn't seem like the game may have crashed, but we'll work it out eventually. Yeah, as I mentioned before, actually, tonight we do have those two 30-minute long races, with race 2 getting higher points. But 3 times in this 9-race season, we will be having 1-hour sunset races, and they carry more points for the one race. Of course, slightly less overall for the weekend. I mean, if you add winning race 1 and race 2 points together in a normal round, you'd get 115. But for the sunset race, winning, you get 100 points. But it's still a very hefty amount of points. On the screen now, you can see all the cars that some of the drivers will have been able to choose from. I don't think anybody has chosen the McLaren or the Ford, but I have seen an Audi, Lambo, Mercedes, Porsche, and a BMW, because I think there's just three BMWs in the order, so not too many, but still a few. But you are fixed to that car throughout the seasons. We'll have to see how that one all works out. But, you know, as I mentioned, the sunset races, that was where I was going with that. They will be happening at Spa, at Le Mans, and at Suzuka. So they will be very interesting races as well. 2 30-minute races at the other 6 rounds, and you can have the one drop round, but that cannot be the final race of the season. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out, to see if the drivers, you know, of course, with a drop round, Dean, of course, you're going to have that one slightly poor race, but then you've got to keep it up through the rest of the season. But it does give you that little bit of a leeway if you just have one absolute stinker a weekend.
Yes, just getting back into the session, so we're going to miss a little bit at the moment, but just trying to make sure that everything is 100%. But it goes up the graphics and so forth, which it should be. And then we'll get you back into the action as quickly as possible. Let's see if we go back into the action right now. Yes, we are. There we go. Thank you. Pitches are back.
Amazing.
We're racing again.
Wonderful.
Just like that, we've actually hit contact, I believe. That was with, yes, this is with the leader at the moment of the Premier class.
Yeah, I think Yannis Ulber has actually been overtaken here by not Matthew Jones, my timing is slightly right, by Joe Newman, who is now through and up into the lead. So he has been overtaken, and Piers Berry will be hoping to follow through soon, he'd have thought, but it doesn't look like that Yannis Ulber is giving this one up as Joe Newman runs himself out of the final corner, trying to break the toe a little bit down towards the first corner, and he will run towards turn 1 and 2 in the lead here. I think he finished quite a few laps. I think we're now on to, what's this, lap 7 now for Joe Newman. So he's found his way through. It may have happened a couple of laps in, but he's not got too far away. So there is still that carrot hanging in front of Yannis Ulber, isn't there?
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely. There's one of the drivers heading the pit road at the moment. That's Mr. Matthew Jones. No pit stops are required for this first round race of the 2 heats. This is the sprint race. Of course, the feature race is coming up, so it's 20 minutes. Well, the 30-minute one at the moment. Oh, it's at 30 minutes and 30 minutes, of course. But the second one is with the reverse grid, with the 1 mandatory pit stop. So maybe there was some damage there at the moment. You can see Maddie looking like it's just getting past Peter. Oh. Oh, we have a accident in the back there too. From... Go back to that one because we have to look at Paul Collishaw here at the moment. Getting onto the back there of Christopher DeMai. That's a battle for 6th and 7th. Overall, I'll put up the overall tower for us rather than the group tower. And you can see where Joe Glass has put his car in a different class right up there at the moment.
Yeah, doing very well, isn't he? I mean, currently in P10, I think 3rd in his class. He was back to Dennis Collard back in 20th. So he is very much doing a good job at the moment. But yeah, Paul Collishaw is trying to get through on the Frenchman Christophe Demay. Of course, as you said, top 13 in this race will be reversed for race 2. So even if you're not having the best race in that top 10, you will start nearer the front. But then you've got that fight. People like Matt Hoyland, Tijani they'll be thinking about whether they can get reverse grid pole. Having said that, Peter Cox. Oh no, I think that's Matt Hoyland in the pit lane. I think there is a mandatory pit stop in race 1 in the this season. There is required in both races this season. So bit of strategy involved here, depending on whether you go early, go later. Of course, just about a third of the way through this opening round of the season. But we'll have to see how those pit stops work out. Of course, with such a big grid, you'll surely pit out into traffic, so that's definitely going to be a consideration for these drivers.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a few more drivers heading down the pit road as well. So that's probably to get out of the traffic, but you'll be back in the traffic. You see the track map at the moment there. It starts to spread out. And at this point too, you're going to have these leaders starting to catch. You can see just down the end of the La Ping before you go down to the casino. Straight around the outside, Yanis is going to try it. You're not going to get it, but then you're on the casino straight right now. So this is just power down, of course, until you come into the entrance of the pit road or swing it through to the final couple of corners of the World Champions. This is going to a nice slipstream here. Whoa, the camera was getting shaken. I thought somebody had smashed into the camera there for a second. It put me off. This is also difficult because if you don't want to be at the pit lane entrance, of course, you've got to be to your left, because if you're on your right and you think about diving in a pit lane, then somebody's going to overtake you. You're in big trouble.
How close Yannis Ulber is, maybe looking to the inside move at turn 1. Oh, he's going to send it to the inside. He's looking for a gap. It doesn't exist. It does exist. And Joe Newman left just enough room. But Yannis Ulber not quite able to pull it off on the inside of turn 1. And they will carry on with Joe Newman still in the lead. It'll give Piers Berry a little bit of an incentive to catch up, because he can see those two battling in front of him just a couple of seconds up the road. We see a few more cars coming into the pit lane. The likes of coming into the pit lane. We'll have to work out once all the pit stops have shaken out where everyone is, because there is going to be a very mixed up grid. When some have pit, some haven't pit. It's going to be a bit of a crazy order. But what a move that was attempted by Albert, but surely he's going to try again at some point. Joe Newman definitely going to have to be looking at mirrors down towards the final chicane and back at turn 1 again.
This is the time to get it done soon. Either that, or if he's going to feel he's holding him up too much, elect to go into the pit road there and try an alternative strategy of getting some banker laps down. Now, another opportunity this time around, and elect to go on the outside. Elected to tuck up behind. She'll get a nice slipstream, and then, of course, traffic up the road. That's what they're going to have soon. If anything, this is also bringing the other players into the game. There's Luca as well too. Luke, I mean, is on the back there of Trish, and they're working together as the Republic of South African drivers. So no doubt. Yep, there it is. So there's in the pit road. That's what he's done. He's listened to me.
It's difficult into that, isn't it? Because of course it's similar to Shanghai as well in that regard, where the pit lane entry, you want to accelerate past the braking zone. So you may see sometimes people just completely misjudge the car in front and smash into the back. I think we nearly saw it there, but very well judged by Albert, and he is in the pit lane. Joe Newman might try and come in this lap then, just to cover him off, but he might try and go long just to see how that one does. But it does promote Tristan de Nobrega up to P3, and Lucchese as well is in 4th. But there's this little train, isn't there? Piers Berry, Tristan de Nobrega and Luke Lucchese 2nd, 3rd and 4th at the moment. Of course, you'd say net P3, 4 and 5, but very close together, and of course lots of points up for grabs. You still get 40 points for P3 in this opening race. It improves to 52 for race 2, which of course is that reverse grid. But a lot of drivers in the pit lane now. Look at that. Loads of drivers, looking at nearly 10 now.
Yeah, and that makes it even more difficult for the drivers in the pit road, because if you have to then spot your lollipop person, and not make a mistake. And look at that. And then you're going to be coming out into this gaggle of cars that are all going down the main straight. As you can see with that fantastic camera right there. He wants to get out just behind that, not in between it, but he will. Oof, that's going to be tough. That's all about timing. That's when you need a spotter, a really good spotter out there. DXT Live, of course, probably spotting for his teammates out there. That's when you need you to try to somehow crunch it. That's if your iRacing doesn't crash like his did. So there's the top 2-3 going in. And this is the thing, too, with the South African drivers. They follow each other in the pit road quite often. Now, how's this going to pan out for where is Giannis? Here's Giannis. This is what I'm curious about. As he going...
See if he picks up the undercut.
Trying
to there's a lot of the guys, the top 7 in the pit lane. So Yannis Hulbert will either take the lead or come out P2 here, it seems. But Joe Newman just about to be released from his pit box. Well, he's not yet being released, but there he goes. He's just left his pit box, but he's very close to the pit exit, of course, which does go straight down towards turn 1. But I do think that... Oh, no, he is out in front. You can see him, I think, just out in front there. Down at turn 2, and there's a lapped car between them. Yes, that is Joe Newman, who is out in front of Yannis Hulbert, who has now got through on that lapped car and will come through turns 3 and turn 4 behind, and quite a long way behind, actually. Maybe that is because Joe Newman just had a free run at the pit lane, didn't he? Yep. He didn't have to brake early for the car in front to not hit him. So maybe that had something to do with it, because he could have gained a good 1.5 seconds there or so. It's let the likes of Piers Berry get a little bit closer to Yannis Hulbert, but Joe Newman, that is the perfect pit stop phase for him. He's only got 13 minutes left of this race 1, and he's looking like he might try and become the championship leader this early on.
That's a position game from P2 to up into P1. Time that pit stop strategy very, very well, because you've got 2.4 second gap. There it is in the background between Yannis and Piers Berry, of course, a little bit further back. So those 2 teammates, remember, are behind him, and then you've got the other 2 teammates of the RDSA Esports in the background. So the good thing for him is that he's not a sandwiched between teammates, so that they can't work together to try to bring get him behind them or slow him down and stuff like that. So he's just got to get on with it, get up the road there. Another 15 or so minutes, just over halfway through, bring it home, keep it out of the wall of champions, and see how that pans out. Any other big gainers? Well, you'd have to put it this way. Peter Cox here, my dear friend, has gained 11 positions in this race and up at a P9. Stitchberry as well, fantastic job. 7 positions gained for him. 7 positions gained for Joe Glass, which I have to say is fantastic. Joe Glass in this class alone, he's like mailing up that P7 course, and he's overall in his group, of course, for the EBO right there. See, so he's looking strong for sure. We do have another driver. Really, I apologise. That's Gianni, and that's Oliver's out there saying, "Let's go, Gianni." Yeah, did we check his class information as well, so we did get that correct? It looked like it was fine before, but I think it might have changed or broken or something when I had to reset it.
He does have an I rating of 1,852, so I think he should be in the Premier class. Because, of course, that is above 1,600, so he should be up in the gold. So if you can just imagine him in the gold there, Joe Glass still, that means he's the only one in the top 10 in the lower class, of course. But he is having to defend here from Stitchbury down in towards this third little chicane before they run towards the hairpin. Of course, you mentioned drivers who've gained as well. I was just looking at the timing pages as well. You've got Gareth Newton and Gary Mitchell in 15th and 17th, both up 13 spots as Stitchbury goes past last there. But yeah, some very big gainers in this field, and they'll all be hoping, especially the likes of Newton and Mitchell, to try and get themselves up to 13th, because of course that is the reverse grid pole, and so if you can find yourself there, you'll have a much better race too, and you're looking at a much better evening in terms of a points return. And it's good to get a good start in the championship with confidence and just have your name near the top of the standings. Means that some drivers might look at you and just remember your name from that standings and think, oh well, I maybe don't want to fight him too hard if he's doing well, but these guys fight as hard as they possibly can a lot of the time, just for pride and of course for every single point you can get. Points down to 20th. So currently, Cowlishaw picking up the final points paying position at the moment, but a lot of racing to go. 10 minutes or so left in this one, as Joe Spara in this very bright lime green Haribo car, isn't it? Defending here from Christophe Demay, who has slipped back a bit after those pit stops, hasn't he?
Yep, absolutely correct. So I'm just trying to sort that out in the background there to get that driver information correct for you. As we are getting down to 10 minutes. I think everybody has made their pit stop so far on the grid. No, we do have Joe, the only driver here so far, has yet to make a pit stop. Splash and dash towards the end. If you're Christopher right now behind Demay, I think that, I don't know, he's going to put up a fight across, but Christopher's going to try to get past him as quickly as possible. Christopher does not want to get held up as well, because he'll know that the 193 machine will have to go on the pit road. And there it is. So maybe Joe didn't put too much of a fight up as well. And the same machine.
He is through. It's a good move as well. Up to P13. Joe, far as you said, yeah, if he's got a pit, he will come out a long way further back. But we'll wait for that to happen. Joe Newman, 2.4 second lead. And you can see up there, lapping a couple of tenths quicker on that lap than Yannis Albert, and it's very close for third and fourth as well, so that's 7 tenths between those two cars. But at the moment, Christophe Demay holding reverse grid pole, and I don't think he'll be too disappointed about that, because he can try and benefit as much as he can in the second 30-minute race that we have following on from this one. But you know, Albert got that start, didn't he? He got a very good launch, and then Newman found his way through. He's just been able to pull away. He's not really looked too under pressure. Of course, there was that moment down into turn 1 where it looked like Albert might be able to pull off the move on the inside, but he wasn't quite able to do it. But Newman doing very well indeed here, isn't he? As we look back for the battle for P10 between Hoyland and Victor Brown. We've got Gianni Tahar not too far behind either. So there's some good battles going on, especially towards the back end of what would be the reverse grid.
Which will be fun for sure with the reverse grid of everybody trying to get their way through here. Still Joe leading from the German driver. P1, P2, there's been an accident, and that's with Paul as well. And let's have a look. If Gareth has lost it here or something and has collected a few cars behind or not. Lovely pink livery there. He has. And I think... Ooh, actually, no. Lovely. He reverses back there. Of course, it's going to damage his rear wing. Fast repair is not a problem, and then that's the pain. That's the pain right there, having to sit there and wait for all the cars to go past.
I have to say, whoever was in that first car that went through has a fantastic livery of a caramel bar. Whoever that was, hot marks for that, because that is fantastic. There have been a couple of good liveries. There's been a Hiro one there, but there was that caramel bar one. I don't know if you have caramel bars, Dean, actually. That would be a very British...
No, not that one.
Yeah, well, you're missing out, that's for sure. But we'll have to see. I'll have to work out who that was in the end. But yeah, not great to go around, but fast. Yeah, you can only use it a couple of times to wear in the race. So you've got a couple of get out of the jail free passes, but then if you use it a couple of times too many, that's going to be a world of pain for you. But Joe Newman now, who's just gaining away from Yannis Albert at the front of the field, really putting his foot down. I think he has got a good chance here of winning this race, of course. But, you know, it'll give him confidence going through to the second race. Of course, he'll be behind, if he wins this race, 12 cars who will be defending hard. But he can just say he was quicker than the first race. He can pass them in the second race. He's going to give him that little bit of a boost that he needs to try and get him through. But as he comes into the final chicane, he's got, what, just over 5.5 minutes left in this one, as they're lapping at about 1:34. You're looking at about another 4 laps for him to go around. But a little bit, just bring it home at this point for Joe Newman, wouldn't you say? Because Yannis Albert doesn't look too close, and doesn't look too fast to try and get past him.
Yeah. Further back, there's a nice battle that's brewing up here with Gianni. Gianni is in a pro. I don't know why it's not showing. I did fix it. Might sort itself out for our feature race coming up after this. Heat 1. Let's see if Demai can get anything done coming out of the wall of the final corners. There is going to get a nice slipstream here. This could be his final chances to get it done with a few more laps up his sleeve.
Yeah, and he'll, you know, of course, they're fighting over. I mean, whoever loses out in this battle at the moment still gets reverse grid pole, so they won't be too disheartened by that. And maybe even somewhat tactically, someone might try and go for reverse grid pole, but there's a bit of a moment on the exit from Gianni there, and Christophe Demay really is looking keen to get through. The gap is nearly nothing there, just about under a car length now as they run through turns 3 and 4, through 5 now up towards the end of the opening sector. And not able to get through this time around, but he has really gained up to the back of this little battle for P11. Thacker and Victor Brown will have noticed that, will know that he is coming pretty quickly, and might have to try and defend in these closing laps. Demai maybe just shaping for a move, trying to scare Thacker off the road, just to give him a bit of an easy move. But you can see he's taking much tighter lines through the opening part of the first chicane to get a good run through the second, and that's exactly what he's got towards the hairpin. He'll have an inside line. Will he make this move to the inside, or will he at least send it? He's going to go for it. It's very late braking from Gianni, who will go deep into the corner. Inside line for Demai means that he's going to have a nice exit, not on the curb, but they're going to be side by side down this back straight towards the final couple of corners. And if they're level like this as they come to the final chicane, I think Demai might have the move, because Thacker won't really want to send it around the outside, especially when you've got the Wall of Champions to combat with as they run themselves through to this final chicane. It will be Christophe Demai on the inside, and he has got that move up into P12 now, and he's got Victor Brown up next.
Oh, big lift off there from Gianni. I'm quite sure why he had to lift off that much to allow him through. Maybe didn't want to risk the entrance and exit into that. I think we've had a little moment from Alex back here. Now, this is a side-by-side, so I got a feeling that somebody's not going to be yielding into this corner. No, actually, there was. So Alex has gone too deep into the Laping. There it is. He's going to have to swing it around the outside. We'll drop that one place. But that's a good thing about the Laping, because you'll have that chance to fight back if you do run wide out there, which is doing very, very well there in the Mercedes-Benz safety car. I don't know if... Oh, no, this is going to look... I think it's going to be... There's the contact, and this could be what happens if you do try to go side by side through that. Oh. Still going. Turn 1.
Coming in nicely there. There we go.
Gets it there.
Gets through on the exit. Very nice move from Alex Fretwell in the end. But go back to that final couple of corners. We see Joe Newman. He's only got about 2.5 minutes left in this race. There will be 2 more laps then to go for our race leader. Got a couple of lapped cars. That's James Bostock getting overtaken, I think, maybe by Henry Nakari and I think Robin Aston. Oh no, this is James Bostock trying to get through on Nakari. Yeah, let's see. Robin Aston behind will hope that these two come together. A couple of free positions, but here he goes around the outside. James Bostock, the British driver, can he loop his way around the outside? Not quite. He doesn't really get the best of exits either, like we saw just a second ago. But Robin Aston, Javier Talavera as well, they're definitely looking for the move in the slipstream, but back so close together, but there just isn't long left in this race to make the move, so maybe this is a bit of a do or die situation for some of these guys. We'll have to see.
James is the boss man of this fantastic league, so he's trying to give it everything he possibly can. Our race leader is still there, 1.5 seconds and change, and I'm wondering at the moment there, yes, Christian's definitely going to put some pressure there on Pierce-Berry, and this is a battle for the podium place in the first heat. And remember too, at the moment Tristan's also got his teammate behind him, so there's going to be a little bit of a push between them. All right, it's like, okay, Tristan, you try to get him at the moment, my friend. You try to take him. If you don't, let's do a swaparoo, and then I'll give it a shot. Well, at the moment, this is it. This is probably your last shot to get it done. As Joe will cross that line.
One more lap.
Yeah.
One more, I think, to go around. So they're going to have one more opportunity down at that final chicane, down at the hairpin as well. So that's going to be interesting. It is interesting, actually, isn't it? Because Joe Newman has really slowed down, hasn't he? He's 1.2 seconds now out in front. Maybe it's Yannis Hulbert just speeding up a bit, because he's at a 34.9. He's the only man in the 34s, when Joe Newman's the only man in the 35. So he really is putting his foot down, but maybe just a little too late in this opening race. But he's still got 30 minutes to go, and if he finishes behind, he will start just about ahead in the second race. At the moment, it is still a Gilles Darragh 30. He will, hopefully for him, take reverse grid pole, but Joe Sparrow is not far behind him whatsoever, so that's going to be an interesting fight to see if who can take reverse grid pole there. But as you said, Tristan Nobrega is looking to try and make the move here for P3 on Pierce-Berry.
And Lucas made a mistake. Went to go back to that one. Lucas behind them has made a mistake, but this is up to Tristan right now to see if he can do it. So we do know you got to get a good entry and exit into this final turn here in the Laping, and that's it. Now it's a casino, because otherwise, if you don't have them going into the final couple of corners, you're not going to have them at all.
You know what, but let's see. The run
Joe's up the
final
road.
chicane. Let's see.
They're further down the road, so we'll see. We're probably going to miss that if there's an opportunity, because Joe's going to have to cross the line right now. He's going to take it. There's Yanis. And here it is for these two, of course. Pierce going to hold on there. Keep it out of the fence. He does just in time, even though you could probably tap the fence there and get away with it. But he does hold off Tristan at the end there. Good job. Good, solid job. And obviously what happened, well, obviously to the teammate as well. That was something that happened in the dying stages of that one of Luca. I know you got your message out there. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go back and see what happened the first lap because of the fact that I had to leave the session. There's Tristan. He's just completely lost it out of that corner there, giving it everything possible can, and that's just dropped him all the way back into P6 now, as Thomas will steal that place away from him. We'll get those results come out for you in a second, because we still have drivers actually still out there, believe it or not, racing. Yeah, it's because I had to leave the session, come back in. It's lost the history, unfortunately, so I won't be able to go back and show you that. I do apologise. I'd love to get back and see it.
I've just noticed on the timing tower, just about held off, he just held off Joe Sparrow, not by much, nearly left it Victor Brown. It was very close in that little battle for reverse grid pole back there. 12, 13, and 14. Joe Sparrow is going to be a long way behind Gianni Taylor on the start of this second race, isn't he? But yeah, they're still fighting away. Robin Aston, look at that. Aston and Talavera, 700ths between them as they crossed the line. So that was a side-by-side finish, but they all come through. Gareth Newton, Dennis Collar, Stephen Donnelly, Mark Robinson, some of the last drivers to just cross the line. But, yeah, it was a good opening race, wasn't it, Dean? But Joe Newman's got some work to do in race 2, starting P13.
Yeah, well, they all do, really, don't they? And Yanis and Pierce. That's the fun of the feature race, having to do that. So you actually, what you will find is that some of the drivers, what they tend to do is actually, box a little bit earlier in the feature race, so that way they come out in clean air, and then they can just put those banker laps down and see how they pan out later on. So here is our results from our first heat race of the year, of the season actually. Sorry.
And it's Joe Newman, isn't it, that wins the opening round. He takes the championship lead. That's a nice tally of 50 points to his aim. Yanis Albert and Piers Berry, the two Lapini Racing drivers, second and third, very good for them in the team's championship. Then you look through the rest of the order. Tristan Dino-Braga in P4. Thomas Pugh with Luke Lucchese after that mistake, finishing in P6. Stitchbury, Glass, Cox and Hoyland. Good result for Glass in that category in P8. Christoph Zemine, 11th, Victor Brown and Gianni Terha round at that important top 13 with Joe Sparrow, Matthew Jones, Gary Mitchell and Rene Stangl rounding out that top 17. Nearly a minute off the field. We'll then look down further. Daniel Nan and Robin Aston are the rest of your points finishers, with Javier Talavera just missing out on the points with Alex Fretwell, Henry Nakari, Ashley Brooks, Stephen Gatebread, Gareth Newton and Dennis Collar in the top 27. Still 18 more cars, would you believe, in the order. Stephen Donnelly, Mark Robinson, Tom Anderson, Matthew Crook, Robson, Orlemans, Cowlishaw, who fell quite a ways down the order in the end, Chris Keenan and McKee in 37th place. And then just the final finishers, a few of them were a lap down in the end. There were a few more finishers behind them, the likes of Ashley Brooks, Graham Matthew and James Pallow as well. There we go. It's Conrad's ranking, Barnett. And then we've got the final four, including Hamilton, Paolo, Ludbrook, and Sarakar. I'm going to have to look at that because it's a little bit blurry on my screen.
Sarakar Dessler.
Sarakar Dessler. There we go. I really haven't butchered that.
No, you're right. We did it last season as well too a few times. It's okay. Sarakar.
Yeah.
He's used to it.
Yeah, we'll have to see how well he can do. Obviously, signing at the back of race 2. We'll have to see. 30 minutes, of course. But those points finishers will, of course, reflect through to race 1. And it will be, of course, the race winner, Joe Newman, who will take the championship lead with the full plethora of 50 points. But there are 65 points up for grabs for the winner of race 2. So, big points. Even bigger than race 1 up for grabs. And there is of course, that bonus reflected all the way through the order. So, Lots of points to fight over. I mean, so you got 23 points for 10th. So it's a lot of points to fight your way through for. And I think some of these guys, particularly in the back end of the top 10, and guys who at the front, so the likes of Newman, Allbear, and Berry, who are reversed just outside the top 10, will definitely give this a good go, won't they?
Yep. They shall. Just going to sort out some of these little issues in the background there, so we will just be muted there for a second.
Right then, we are ready to get going very soon for race 2, the feature race of the evening here at Gilles Villeneuve. Still a lot of drivers in the order. Gianni Terhar will start from pole, Victor Brown second, and Christophe Zamaya third. Matt Hoyland, Peter Cox, Joe Glass, of course the only one in that reverse grid in the Evo class. Stitchbury, Lucchesi, Pugh, and Darragh, Berry, Allbear, and then it will be our race winner, Joe Newman, in P13 for the reverse grid. The rest of the grid, of course, the results from race 1. So they are still as they were, as you can see, Sparrow, Jones, Mitchell, Stangl, Nans, Bostock, Aston, Talavera, Fretwell, Nakari, and Brooks in the top 24. Lots of cars in this field, but it'll be interesting to see that little mix between 13th and 14th, see if some of those guys who didn't get in the reverse grid can get their way through. Cakebread, Newton, Collar, Donnelly, Robinson, Anderson, Matthew Crook, Robson, Orlemans, Cowler Shaw, and Chris Keenan are in the top 36 with the rest of the grid. Rob McKee, Alex Conrads, Ranking, Barnett, Sarika Dessler, there we go, got her in the end. Hamilton, Palo, Ludbrook, and Breitenbach, who didn't finish race 1, right at the back of the grid. So, just about to get this second race underway. Like I said, 65 points up for grabs for the winner of this one, and surely you'd think a good championship position heading towards round 2 in 7 days' time. See, as they run towards the final couple of corners, the pace car will come into the pit lane. It'll be dictated by Gianni when we get this underway. 30 minutes again of racing for this feature race, and let's see, they were going to run up towards the line. Gianni Terhag not going yet. They're all forming up. So many cars as Gianni will start to release the pack before they've even come through the final corner. The lights are on. When will they disappear? Now they will, because Gianni has bolted away. Victor Brown, not with the best of starts. He's in behind with Christophe Demay, looking like he's side by side with Matt Hoyland as they run towards turn 1. I think he's taken P2, in fact, as they run through the opening couple of corners. But Victor Brown fighting his way back up the inside. Now they're on through towards turn 3 and turn 4. Hoyland looking for the move on the inside, but I think Peter Cox is going to be lurking. He's currently in P5 as Brown is ahead of Demai as he was off of the start. Joe Glass as well doing well in that second class as we've got to move to the inside. I think that was Stitchbury. Ooh, I think there was a bit of contact there between the cars as they run their way through the end of this first section. There's a car off. I think that is Peter Cox there, who is dropping right down the order. But it's a good start, isn't it, for Darragh? It's exactly what he would have wanted. And the likes of Joe Newman haven't really been able to gain too much yet, but they've got a lot of time to try.
And that's going to give our race leader, because we got our blinking again, exactly. Sorry, I have no idea why. We've changed all the settings a million times. It worked, did testing it. We've had no problems getting it sorted yet, but there's lots of accidents. Lots of things going on at the moment, actually. It's probably going to end up breaking it. Because the flashing and, unfortunately, blinking is also pulling up all these accidents on race control when they're not actually having accidents. So, try to give our absolutely best out there. You see, it starts to sort itself out like it did eventually before, but I don't know.
Starts. That's what, but not what you want to see, really. But Joe Glass is still doing well. He's P7 in that Evo class. He's definitely going to have a good points tally at the end of this in the Evo class, isn't he? Definitely looking. I think he might even be in the top 10 overall, which will be good for him. But as they're on their way on to lap 2 now. See, it's Berry and Pugh running side by side, and they go up towards turn 4 and 5. Joe Newman still lurking around there, trying to find his way through if he can see the cars in front of him. I'm sure he can. Just that in front of him for us, they just disappear and reappear in very weird orders. But let's see, towards the end of the first sector they go, blinking away. Joe Newman's still down, I think, in P12. It's up into P11 now, sorry, as it was a couple more moves actually. I'm not sure actually real, but yeah, they're all white now. Liveries are
no, yeah, I'm refreshing the overlays to see if it's going to try to fix. I'm just trying everything drastically in the background here to see if we can get it to resolve itself out there. But they will get their liveries back on. There is your race leader you did mention. He is still there. It's flashing. It's going a little Yahoo hooligan on me. My internet connection is perfectly fine, so it can't be anything like that. Anyway.
Other way, we're just getting we'll just have to cope, really, won't we? This will be an interesting one. I hope I don't have to cope. Well, this doesn't happen again anywhere else because it's not ideal. But it is quite interesting just to try and work out who is where on the track. Let's see, Yannis Allbert. He's picked up 5 spots so far already. He's having a good race off of the start. There he is in the blue and gold car, I should say. He's going to try and make a move here on Lucchese, but further up we've got Hoyland. Is he now ahead of Darragh? No, I think he's just fighting over with Stitchbury. There he is with Stitchbury. Similar liveries though between Darragh and Stitchbury. But Hoyland is up there doing well. Victor Brown and Christophe Demai going at it just in behind as well, as there's Allbert trying to go to the inside as well, just trying to make the move stick, and I think he has done it. Blinking away, but he's blinking ahead of the South African driver. I mean, he's over about a tenth of the actual time, but he is ahead all the same. There's still moves to be made in the background. Here is Spara going for it in that Haribo car. He's not quite able to get past Demai at the moment.
James, the boss man as well too, so putting some pressure on in the class of the Evo. Because you've still got Joe Class and all that there to look at the overall tower so you can actually see where that is. Oh, there's contact at the moment into the fence there. That's not from James. That looks like that was Peter Cox, I think. So it's all happening.
Peter Cox has been through the wars so far, isn't he? I think we spun around it on the opening lap, and now he's been given a bit of contact. But either way, James Bostock up into what is P17 at the moment. In the chat, Jono saying that it might cause a seizure. I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did, because it's blinking away. But at least we can still see where they are. May have sorted itself out, maybe just about. Looks a bit better than it was before. Into the pit lane there, on the back. That could be Mitchell who's coming to the pit lane, or maybe not. Maybe it was just the car behind. Daniel Nans very well could be, and in fact it is. As there is fighting up near the front, but it does look better, doesn't it, Dean? It looks like it's fixed itself now.
Yeah, it's it. Well, now we're getting it. So you're basically 5 minutes or so into the race. It starts to sort itself out, I think. Let's not jinx it. No, see, we jinxed it.
Oh yeah. had my fingers crossed and everything, but it didn't work. Inside line here, maybe. Ooh, not a move in the end for Lucchese. I thought he was going to go for it on the P5 man, Victor Brown, but not this time around. Villeneuve have been attached to each other all evening long so far. He's just in behind currently in P7 as they will dive their way through this third chicane of the lap towards their hairpin. They will go. But Victor Brown doing a good job in defending at the moment. He has slipped down a few places, started in P2, currently P5. But the driver who has really done well on this reverse grid so far is Yannis Ulber. He's up to 4th, whereas Joe Newman, who won the last race, he only gained 1 to 12th at the moment.
So look at you said it that way, exactly. There it is.
You know, Enquiries maybe going for the move on Matthew Jones here. Very close together as they run their way to the final couple of corners. Got to be careful of Stample as well, just in behind him as they run their way to the final couple of corners. I think actually that is a pit lane that has just been entered by Rene Stangl, so he is into the box as there is a car in front, I promise. Let's see as they run through the opening sector. We're having a look at, I believe that is Victor Brown again. He's lost out to Luke Lucchese. And Tristan Villeneuve will be hoping to follow through very soon as they run their way through this opening sector, dipping down through that chicane, which of course can be difficult when they're taking a bit of grass on the inside of the second part. Villeneuve, he's looking for the move, isn't he? That black and yellow car, but can he get through towards the end of the lap? That's a wide moment. Joe Glass, he is currently in P12, slipped down a little bit, and he might actually see another member of the lower class because he hasn't seen one of them all day. He's been that far up, mixing himself with the Premier class, but you know, Matthew Jones a couple of places behind him might say